It was a cold and dreary morning, and Blunty said unto them, Look, why don't I come back to you after my windows have defrosted and I've gotten some food and coffee into me, alright? Fair deal? Fair deal. Okie dokie. I've had my breakfast, I've had my coffee, and I've pulled up to park by the shore of Wendouree Lake, which, even in this weather, is kind of pretty. There's a sleepy black swan over there just standing on the shoreline, with face tucked into his wings. Anyway, I'm at a bit of a loss today. Today was going to be a bit of a walk-around day, really, but the weather's too crap for that. I was going to go on a photo walk, but I mean, the dreariness doesn't really turn me off too much, but it's been raining and threatening to rain, and I just don't want to be stuck in that. And frankly, it's probably not the smartest thing I could do to walk around in this weather when I'm still recovering from a chest infection, which I am feeling a little better today. Although I was very, very rattly first thing this morning before I took another dose of the, what's this stuff again? Bromhexine hydrochloride. I've got a tension headache threatening, so probably smart to lock down somewhere. One of my thoughts was to book a night or two at the local caravan park that I stayed at earlier this week when I desperately needed that rest day before I just completely collapsed and burned out and died on the side of the road or something. Oh, yeah, ribs still hurt. But they're all booked up because, again, it's the weekend and it's a really, really nice caravan park, so not too shocking. An hour north is that other really nice caravan park, or hour and 20 minutes to call it. Not that it matters. They do have site available, so I could go crash there for a night or two and give myself the best chance of recovery. But at this point, I'm not going to go too far from where I am. Because post-PAX, it's time for a new plan. And that new plan seems to be look for an affordable place to live here in Ballarat. I really like this town. The more time I spend here, the more, I was going to say the more familiar it feels, but that goes without saying because I'm spending time here. The more comfortable I am here. It reminds me a lot of some of the places around where I grew up, sort of the Hobart suburbia. But the weather feels very, very similar. People feel very similar. Sort of the way things are spread feel about this, And I've never been homesick for Hobart, but you grow up somewhere and it leaves an impression on you. But yeah, the vibe of this place I really like. And of course, the rents here are, something I can afford. So, yeah, what have I got? 2 applications in at the moment for 2 places I looked at over the last few days. It's Saturday now, so no new places will be listed until at least Monday. So I can bugger off for the weekend if I want, but yeah, I've got to figure out what these vlogs look like when I'm not traveling, and I'm just sort of hovering around Ballarat, hoping to, find a place. And I don't know what that means because I think some of the more interesting vlogs have had along the way of the almost 50 days of homelessness I've had so far. What are we at now? 47? I think some of the more interesting ones are when I was in little places and traveling between places and finding pretty little campgrounds or little tourist spots and stuff like that. I just checked the weather report. It's actually going to turn out to be a reasonable day, apparently, if these clouds ever lift. Warm and mild. But again, I don't think going on a long walk is probably the best plan when I'm having occasional difficulty breathing. And as nice as this brisk air is out there, again, probably not the smartest thing I can do to help the recovery. That's the other thought. If I do go north and stay at that other caravan park, I can slam down a lot more liquids. Remember we were talking about in yesterday's vlog, where I was like, I sort of keep a cap on how much I drink because the fuss of having to find a public toilet is not always easy, convenient, or, whatever. If I'm at a park, I don't have to worry about that, so I can drink lots of liquids, which will help the recovery also, of course. I'll stretch the proverbial legs with a nice little hour and a half drive north, because I do feel a bit restless as well. Just for the past few days, just driving around Ballarat, basically. Stealth camping in the street. It does make me, funnily enough, a little stir crazy, because no space is mine. And I'm always... The thing with stealth camping, which is, van life slang for just parking somewhere in suburbia, basically, and hoping to go unnoticed. There's someone sort of staying overnight in their car. There's always a low-level anxiety behind that, because you don't know if someone's going to tap on the window and ask what the fuck you're doing parked out front of their place or whatever. So it's tough to get a restful night's sleep, even if it wasn't really cold like it was last night. So a more restful night's sleep at a caravan park, a space that is mine, at least for a night or two. Power, so I could just play as much Pokemon as I like. That'd be nice, actually. You know what I could do? I could, if I've got access to power, I can hook up the dock. I think I know which box the dock is in. And try to do some direct capture of the game. I don't know if any of my external capture cards are readily available, but I do know I have a CamCap type device, which might serve as a very ghetto way to do some capture. Maybe I could try making some Pokemon content of some kind. That could be a thing to do, and also something for the vlog. Like, maybe not the content itself, but how I did the content in the back of a van with the most basic of materials. Well, basic for a content creator, I guess, technology-wise. Might take me back a bit to the earliest days when I was MacGyvering shit together just to get the job done. Yeah, okay. I've talked myself into it. Let's do the caravan park. And I'll do 2 nights, because again, as I mentioned yesterday, when I did have that crash out day, someone did donate money specifically earmarked for some nights at a hotel / caravan park / motel, whatever, to make sure I got enough rest. So, okay, yeah. Let's do the smart self-care thing. Should hit up a supermarket first to get some fresher food. Yeah, okay. We have a plan. I think it took about half the vlog to get through that, but I have a plan. All right, supermarket. Let's do it. Well, that was disappointing. Because it is so early on a Saturday morning, there was no fresh bread yet. But I had to get a fresh packet of painkillers and some soup. And some of those Kit Kat Nescafe coffee things. Half price. Yay. Give me a sec. I'll be right with you. Just got to get rid of a bit of dog slobber off the glasses, courtesy of a very pretty, what'd the guy say, silky cross? The pale one, that one there. It was just a big old sweetheart. And a couple of greyhounds, one of which 15 years old. The other one kind of fresh off racing and new to being a pet. So still had the muzzle on because apparently she tries to chase smaller dogs, thinking they're their lures. There's my requisite doggo interaction for the week. I don't think I had a doggo interaction last week. No, of course I didn't, because of PAX. There we go. Dog slobber taken care of. Right, so made it to the town north of Ballarat. Was it Castlemaine? Castlemaine. A bit too early yet to check into the caravan park, as I expected. Very pleasant ride up, though. Actually, that's something I should mention. Of the things I like about Ballarat, despite being only about an hour and a half sort of west of Melbourne, the driving that I've been complaining about in Melbourne, Ballarat drivers are way better. Just courteous and aware, and just, they'll let you in. They'll wave to you if you let them in, and, wave them by, and just so much friendlier, and just, recognizing that we all share the road together. So, I've pulled up to a car park here just next to Public Park, obviously somewhere where some other people love to walk their dogs. I've seen so many dogs walk by. I think this is actually the opposite edge of the Botanical Gardens to where the caravan park is. Remember I mentioned that the caravan park borders on the Botanical Gardens? But both times I've been here previously, I didn't explore the gardens. Once because of weather, and once because I was just not feeling it. And the weather, I think. This time around, I'm really hoping by the time that I get to the end of my stay, I'll be feeling fit enough and the weather holds, because it's really quite a lovely day out there too, that I'll get a chance to explore the gardens, take my camera. Right now, though, I've just arrived, like I said, pulled into a park because there's public toilets here, which I needed to avail myself of. And yeah, taking another couple of rest days is absolutely the right decision. Because just an hour of driving, very pleasant driving, like Saturday morning driving, and through arterial roads that we just had almost no one on them, so very calm and relaxed. And yeah, just an hour of that nearly wiped me out. As soon as I stepped out of the Shuttlepod here to go walk to the toilets, I was like, oh, everything hurts. Everything is slow and painful, and I'm out of energy. So it's my body telling me that we need to rest. We need to have plenty of fluids. There's a magpie there who's being very, very cheeky. What are you doing? That's right. Get on with you. So yeah, I feel terrible right now, in relatively good spirits, and glad that I've made the decision that I did. So thank you to the person who donated that money to the PayPal, specifically earmarked for we'll call it hospitality stays, caravan park hotel, whatever I think the note said. Appreciate that very much, and it made this very easy to justify. Staying a couple of nights here. Yeah, that'll do. Just had to find a shady spot so I could talk to the camera about doing this face, because it's very, very bright. So, it's about noon-ish. Pulled into the caravan park. Got a different site this time. at the sort of lower end of the caravan park than I have been the last couple of times. I think I like the other spots better. In any case, I wish I had the GoPro, the dash cam, running as I pulled in here, because there are a lot of children here this time around. There goes one. I think they're buggered off down to the Botanical Gardens right now, judging by what I can hear. But none of them have any survival instinct. They're all running around the car as I'm driving in. Just running across the line, just stopping in the middle of the driveway or the paths, and just sort of dawdling there. Had to give them a little toot toot to let them know there's a car behind them, because apparently they couldn't hear the diesel engine of the Shuttlepod. And then I pulled into the spot and decided I wanted to reverse in instead, so I pulled back out, the little 3-point turn, went to reverse in, and a small child, maybe 4-year-old girl on a little tricycle, just stopped right in the middle of my spot. So I lean out the window and look back. Said, "Excuse me, I need to be there with my big car." She stared at me, blinked at me. Her mother eventually came along. She said, "Oh, are we in the way?" "Mm-hmm. Yes, you're in the way. Your child has no fear of moving cars. Might want to teach her something about the physics of mass and velocity and stuff. Or, failing that, if your child is stupid, don't stand in the way of cars. Simple enough rule." Well, that's what I wanted to say to her. What I said instead, because I was following the social construct of don't tell people their children are stupid, is, "Yep, I need to be right there." And she shuffled her kid out of the way. So I'm going to bail myself into the back of the van there, have a dig through my parts bin, and see if I can find the stuff that I need to hook up the dock, the Switch 2 dock, to the laptop to see if I can get some capture going. Or maybe I'll leave that till tomorrow. I don't know. Either way, the rest of my day is just fiddling around back there, resting, drinking lots and lots of fluids now that I have a toilet I can just walk to easily, and not have to worry about finding somewhere to piss. I do hope the noise of those children eventually dies down. It's not particularly disruptive, and it's easy enough to filter out these days with the AI filter that DaVinci Resolve has for audio. I mean, you saw it at work in the PAX footage. It works miracles. But still, I'm not a big fan of the screechy noise that children make en masse. I don't find it particularly soothing. And I need soothing right now, as you can hear. So, I'm going to take my weary, aching bones and my raspy voice to the back of my van and rest. Probably do 1 or 2 more bits to camera before the day is done, just to tell you how I'm going. Probably won't put any Pokemon in this video, but I might be able to show this setup if I get it working the way I want. Right then, that'll do. And I am looking especially crap. It's been a very sweaty afternoon back here, between my fever and the van baking in the sun. Which, I don't know, is that helping the fever? Being in the back of the van making me even hotter, sweating out and killing the germs? Probably, right? I don't know. Anyway, I've just been pottering around in Pokemon for a few hours now. Basically just cleaning up all the side quests that I have access to, and completing 100% all the zones that I've got opened up so far. And I finally found the Eevee. There's one spawn spot for Eevee in the entire game, apparently. My God, they're noisy out there, aren't they? Jesus Christ. Like clucking hens. Okie dokie, back of van video game capture slash big screen play versus handheld with the Switch 2. It's working. It's not working great, but it's working well enough for this game. I wouldn't want to play anything demanding because there's a bit of a delay, very, very slight delay, maybe 5 to 7 milliseconds. You don't really feel it in Pokemon, but I can sense it's there. So, how are we doing this? Well, I've got my trusty old Elgato HD60S over here. Input only from the Switch, because we don't have anything to output to. That would normally go to a TV at the other end. That's the lag-free version. Ignore that. That's just a dongle that I didn't end up needing. So yeah, HDMI, of course, to the Switch dock, and as you can see, we've still got the all the donos there. We're opting to get the Switch to in the first place. I'm having to run it off its own power adapter off the Roven power, bank thing here, which is also running off mains power at the moment here at the site, just because the Switch 2 is really janky about how it does its power. But it looks like we're drawing about 10 watts right now. That's not so bad. I've also got the Pro Controller on charge at the moment. That was flat. So I am playing with the Joy-Cons at the moment, which is a nice way to play if you're lying down in your bed. Arms splayed. It's actually pretty comfortable. I'm just sitting over there waiting for an Eevee. I'll tell you the Eevee story in a second because it's pretty frustrating. But yeah, I can record. I drop a bunch of frames here and there. Again, there are a lot of games I wouldn't want to try and play, like this is no good for Monster Hunter, for example. But for Pokemon, it's working fine, and I can record some decent looking footage that hitches sometimes, but I don't know. It might be good enough for some kinds of content. Right now, though, it is at least comfortable to play, lying down, playing like this. But yeah, I've got one Eevee so far. I'm trying to farm the spot. And respawn, there's only one Eevee in one spot. And the respawn seems to be on a timer, 3 or 4 minutes or so. I haven't checked it yet, but it feels like about 3 or 4 minutes. So it's really annoying to farm the Eevee. And there's no breeding in the game either, apparently. So if you want all the evolutions, you're just going to have to go through this really tedious process. And if you try and catch it straight off the bat, it will, and if you fail, it will run away, leap off the building, 5 stories down, go hide near an alpha, if you didn't kill the alpha, within its own spawn timer. And if you don't catch it in the corner, then it becomes invulnerable. It just runs around completely invulnerable. You can't target it. Balls go right through it, so do attacks. And it just runs around completely invulnerable and invisible for like a minute, and then eventually fades away. So fuck you, Game Freak. Fuck you very much. Good fucking luck anyone who wants a shiny Eevee, by the way. Not such a big deal for me. I have, I think, 12 or 13 shiny Eevees sitting in Pokemon Bank. Stored up from previous various games. And a couple of shiny Umbreon. Umbreon's my favorite, but So yeah, that's the Eevee story. Oh, and another special Happy Time Fun bonus that I forgot to mention. If you so happen to approach the Eevee in the day to night transition and it turns to night, the Eevee just vanishes. It despawns in the cutscene. Fuck you, Game Freak. Fuck you. So yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously can't do sort of let's plays or stuff like that, but yeah, maybe I'll be able to do little guides. Although I'm pretty slow off the bat at this point. All that stuff has been farmed to death already. But content creators should rather farm content than enjoy a game, and they all just copycat each other's content anyway, like directly. There's just no honor. So I don't know. I'll give it some thought. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there is something isn't. But the point is, I can jankily record gameplay footage at this point from the back of the van, so long as I have access to power. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now because my throat's really starting to hurt again, and I feel the coughing and spluttering coming. But I have been keeping up with the fluids. and etc., etc., etc. So, thank you for all the support, for the PayPals, for the Patreon, for the Super Chats, for everyone who liked the video, and for everyone who commented, especially if you commented multiple times for no good reason. Apparently, as long as you don't copy-paste your comment, it doesn't get flagged as spam, but apparently multiple comments from the same person get lower and lower priority in the algorithm. Whatever that means. I don't know. Comment twice. So yeah, I'm going to have a very restful afternoon. Play Pokemon until I fall asleep, probably. And then tomorrow, well, tomorrow's, a rest and recovery day, but I'll find something to actually make a video about. Maybe some Pokemon stuff. Maybe we'll get a shiny tonight. We can all celebrate together. Yay. Wish me luck. Bye.